A sailor went to sea to see what he could see, but all that he could see is the bottom of the great blue sea. Don't worry, I won't be singing. When I was 8, in the music class, our teacher, Mrs. Ringrose, got us all singing, and she went round listening to each pupil in turn. When she got to me, she said, "Don't sing." That was the end of my musical career, and I've also made it a point whenever I'm teaching to never humiliate a student. My name is Jim. Welcome to my booktube channel about books and reading and stuff. Today I want to look at the C tag. Lots of things begin with C. Coffee, Chevrolet, Cadillac, Camus, Chinese, Clarkson, Chevrolet. We have a box full of Chevrolets here. Little Chevrolets, cars, countries. Many countries begin with C. C is for Cuba. C is for Colombia, home of Gabriel Garcia Marquez. C is for Chile. We have Isabel Allende. We have Pablo Neruda. Necesito del mar porque me enseña. No sé si aprendo música o conciencia was the start of Neruda's poem about the sea. We have Congo, where Barbara Kingsolver's Poisonwood Bible was set. We have Cyprus, we have Crete, we have Czechia. Czechia was home of Franz Kafka. Ceylon, now Sri Lanka. And we have some very big countries beginning with C. China, biggest country in the world by population and third biggest by area. Second biggest country by area is Canada. For my first C prompt, what was the last book you read by an author either from Canada or from China, or any of those other countries beginning with C? Canadian writers. The last book I read by a Canadian author was this one, Stone Mattress by Margaret Atwood. Margaret Atwood is famous for The Handmaid's Tale and Blind Assassin. This is a collection of 9 short stories where the protagonists are elderly and they're not aging gracefully. There's murder, there's love triangles, there's all sorts of things going on. It's a very interesting book, and it made me think more about the short story format. I think I should read more short stories by other writers as well. I've been too fixated on reading novels. Chewbacca, Chaika. This Chaika is made in the Soviet Union. Stelano v SSSR. Cat. C is for cat. We don't have a cat, we have a dog. Here's our canine. C is for canine. Show me your canine. This is Abby, relaxing. Classic. What was the last classic book you read, or book from classical literature? This is a Collins classic. This is Mary Barton by Elizabeth Gaskell. This is the book I'm currently reading. It's set in Manchester in the mid-19th century. Manchester was a very big mill town at the time. Mary Barton's father worked in the mills, and it's a story about the poverty of the industrial city. The Cat in the Hat, children's books. C is for children. What was the last children's book you read? Living with the grandchildren, we read lots of children's books here, like The Cat in the Hat, like Jack and the Beanstalk, Puss in Boots. But what was the last children's book you read as an adult for yourself? Last year I read Roald Dahl's Matilda. As a child I liked Roald Dahl, but this wasn't published in my childhood, so I read Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, James and the Giant Peach, but I read Matilda last year. I really enjoyed it. I think it's a good book to advocate for reading, because Matilda loves reading and her parents can't understand why she loves reading. But the most recent children's book I've read was Charlotte's Web. I read this back in February, and I hadn't read this as a child. I imagined it was something more gothic, but it turned out to be the story of a pig called Wilbur and his friend Charlotte, who's a spider, and Charlotte is determined to save Wilbur from the chopping block. She doesn't want Wilbur to be the Christmas ham. C is for colouring book. Apparently there are now colouring books for adults. I'm told it relieves anxiety and helps deal with stress. For me, colouring books are still something the children love. Lazare loves colouring books. What you colouring, Lazare? Do you have any colouring books? Would you recommend colouring books for adults? C is for comedy. Two hunters go into the woods. One of them falls down. He doesn't seem to be breathing. His friend panics, gets out his phone and says, "Oh, help, 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 can you help me? My friend, I think he's dead, he's not breathing, he's not breathing." The operator goes, "Okay, calm down, I think I can help you. First, are you sure he's dead?" Then there's silence. Bang! Okay, now what do I do? Yes, C is for comedy. What's the funniest book you've read? For me, I think this would be Round Island with a Fridge by Tony Hawks. This is Tony Hawks the comedian, not Tony Hawks the pro skater. He had a drunken bet with his friend that he could go around Ireland with a fridge in a month. The bet was for £100 and the fridge cost him £100. It's a very funny book. Cereals, Cappadocia, comedians, comic books. C is for comic books. I don't get the interest in these. Can somebody explain? This is a DC Batman comic book. Cartoons, cubism, cookbooks. C is for cookbook. Do you have a favourite cookbook? This will probably be mine. Gordon Ramsay Makes It Easy. I like the idea of easy here. But usually when I'm looking for culinary inspiration, I go to YouTube. I have a big playlist of cookery videos. My favourite cookery YouTuber is Laura Vitale of Laura in the Kitchen. She's Italian American and she's very enthusiastic about cooking, and the recipes seem quite straightforward and there aren't too many ingredients. Courbet, Cézanne, Caravaggio, Colombian writers, Cyprus, many things begin with C. If you enjoyed this video, you can like and subscribe below, and I will see you on the next video. Ciao!